Hello everybody, Scotia here with what should hopefully be just a quick little video for today, because last night, or well for me it was probably in the morning, we got a surprise trailer for the first two DLC teams for the KOFXV, and I wasn't really going to make a video on this. You know, these first two teams have been leaked for a while now, and so we've known who they were going to be. We know who the other two teams are probably going to be, and you know, I have my own thoughts on them, but we'll kind of cross that bridge when we get to it, really. But to my own surprise, I'm like so incredibly kind of like blown away by how good these two teams look like these 6 DLC characters. Of course, the first team is Team Goro, featuring Rock Howard, Gato, and B. Janae, and then we have Team Southtown, which is Geese Howard, Billy Kane, and Ryuji Yamazaki. So yeah, we knew these teams were coming. I was kind of ambivalent towards them. I mean, I like all 6 of these characters. I always have. I'm a big fan of Goro. It's one of my favourite fighting games of all time. I love Rock Howard. B. Janae I think is a great character. Gato I like a lot. Geese Howard is always, you know, such a great character and such a great villain. Billy Kane, I've always kind of liked him, but I've never really kind of put a lot of thought into like how much I like him. I do quite like him a bit. And Yamazaki's also a great character. So, you know, these are 6 characters I really do like a lot. And it's just kind of crazy to me, like, how good these characters look, like, how well they turned out. Obviously not really going to be talking about the gameplay side of it, because, you know, I did play a bit of Rock in KOF14. Not too much, though. I didn't really play a whole lot of 14. I did play enough to kind of, you know, get a feel of it. But it was never a game I put tons of time in. But yeah, I'm definitely excited for these characters. They all look really good. Rock, Janae, and Gato haven't really changed a whole lot. Obviously, especially Rock, because he's pretty much how he was in 14, just looks a lot better, as does everybody in this game, really. So I don't really have a ton to say about their designs. For me, the biggest shockers is how great the redesigns for Geese, Billy, and Yamazaki is. They look amazing, and it was one of those things. I was excited for the Team Goro when that first got leaked, but when I heard about Team Southtown, I was a bit kind of like, because it was like, yeah, those are cool characters and I like them, and I like that team, but to sell them as DLC when, you know, Yamazaki was DLC in 14 and Geese and Billy were in the base roster of 14, I was a bit kind of meh about, like, you know, the idea of having to kind of like buy them and kind of, you know, them just having been in the previous game. But like the fact they gave all 3 of them complete redesigns is like crazy to me, and like I'm really glad they did, because man, like Billy especially, to me, I mean, he looks amazing. I've not been really into like the last few designs of Billy. I think 2003 was probably the last time I really liked his design. 13 didn't really do a lot for me. Obviously, it was the very classic like Fatal Fury / 95 design, which I don't mind that design, but doesn't really do a lot. 14, I don't think his 14 design was bad. It just kind of bored me. It didn't really do a lot for me. I thought it wasn't very exciting or anything. It was kind of a very safe attempt at just kind of giving Billy a redesign. You know, if you'd kind of told me that like that was a costume you had in a previous game or a previous Fatal Fury game or a spin-off, I would have been like, yeah, I believe that. You know, it just wasn't very exciting. But it's like, man, it's that crazy thing where it's like you just put a guy in a suit and like his coolness factor goes up by like 10,000. Same thing with Geese. I mean, I've always loved Geese's design, but man, like just seeing Geese in a suit and him being playable in a suit. Obviously, he's been playable in a suit before in I think Art of Fighting 2 and Neo Geo Battle Coliseum. I've not really played either of those games, so this is the real first time I've kind of seen Geese in a suit. Yeah, he looks great. And Yamazaki, that coat is amazing. You know, he's always kind of had the white coat. He's had it in intros and stuff and win poses. But to have him actually be, like, fighting in it, that's really cool. It's kind of funny, really, because Yamazaki, I actually really didn't like his model in 14. I actually think he had one of the worst models in the game, like, down there with, like, Andy. So to see him there, kind of, obviously we haven't seen him in game. We haven't seen any of the Team Southtown in game yet. But just from their renders, like, he looks way better. So that's really cool. It's just very, very cool. You know, it's so good to kind of just see how much effort they're putting into the DLC, because for the most part, I feel like 15 has been very good with the models, but there's 1 or 2 characters that, you know, could be a bit better, could be a bit more polished. But these 6 characters, they absolutely nailed them out the park. I'm very excited to play these teams. Obviously, they're coming out very, very soon, March 2022 for Team Goro, which is very soon. That's, you know, a month after the game comes out itself, and then Team Southtown in May. We've also got confirmation for Team 3 and Team 4. They're coming summer and autumn this year, I think. So yeah, very, very exciting. I just kind of want to give my quick 2 cents, really, just kind of go like, wow, I really like how they look. I've seen the bios for Team Garo, and I don't remember it word for word. I'll have it on the screen now for you. But it's very interesting because it seems like they're actually kind of going to be a bit more involved in the actual main plot. Not too much, but I think it says something about BJNA is entering the tournament because she's actually interested with the events of what happened in the previous tournament, with the events of 14 and Verse and resurrecting everybody. So it's interesting because BJNA in KOF11, which is the only other KOF game she's been in, her role in that game was she was kind of like a, not comedy relief, but she was kind of a jokey character. I think her kind of backstory in that game was she joined because she just wanted to win the KOF tournament to get the prize money, and she kind of roped she roped Gato and T-Zoc into it, and like kind of shenanigans. She lied to Gato about having info about his dad. But it says in Gato's bio, I think, that BJNA actually does have info about Gato's dad. Does, you know, who knows, that might just be another lie, but she's roped Rock into it. What I really like is that these DLC teams are now canon, which is a thing that I wasn't really into with 14. Obviously with 14 having singular DLC characters, it allowed us to kind of get more out there picks that weren't reliant on having other characters, but as a result those characters aren't canon in 14, like they didn't appear in that tournament. But now that DLC teams are like, they're actual teams and they've got stories and bios, and I'm sure they'll have endings. That's very exciting because it kind of gives us more, more depth in the story after the game's already out. So I'm very excited. I think for the stories for the DLC teams, I think I'll just kind of do like a recap of what their story is, like per team as they come out. So obviously I'll be doing the big what happened in for the KOFXV 15 when that comes out, and then when Rock and BJNA and Gato come out, then I'll do kind of like a separate video on what their story and what their ending is, and the same for Southtown and etc, etc. So I think that's what I'll end up doing. Just let me know what you guys would want, if you have any other ideas of how you'd like me to go through that. I'm more than open to hearing it. But yeah, it's really, really cool. Like, I never thought I'd be like so kind of excited and like blown away by these teams. I mean, it really shows how far SNK have come since KOF 14. I saw a comparison, and I thought Rock looked good in 14, well, as good as he could in that game, but he looks way better in this game in 15. Like, it's incredible. I mean, they all look amazing. So yeah, that's kind of just the video for today. Very, very quick. Didn't want to go too long. Just kind of a brief of my thoughts on. I think for upcoming videos, I'm still waiting for them to release the Team Ash story, and then that's the last team story I will be doing probably for the base roster. I'm sure they'll do team stories for the DLC teams, so I'll do those when they come out. Other than that, though, it's pretty much just waiting for the KOF 15 game to actually come out, so I can cover the story. Hopefully next month. Oh, sorry, we're in February now, so it's this month. Hopefully later this month we get Street Fighter 6 revealed. I'll definitely be doing a lot of videos on that. So yeah, bit of a lull period, I guess, the end of January, early February, but once things get going, I think things are going to be very exciting. So I'm excited for KOF 15. I'm excited for anything possibly Street Fighter related. KOF 15 looks amazing. DLC characters look amazing. I'm very happy right now. I think the game's in a great spot, and I really just can't wait to play it. That's it for today. All I really wanted to say. So thanks again for all the support. I really appreciate it. It really means a lot to me. So thanks again, and I will see you guys later. Bye.
We await your return, warrior.